Welcome back, guys, to another video brought to you by your one and only literary pharaoh. I know you guys have been keeping up with the Puff Daddy trial, and we had our recent witness, Capricorn, that was brought to the stand, and she was asked questions by the government, by the prosecution team. But before I even get into that, I want to just let you guys know something about how diabolical and how misleading the God of materialism is, and how it starts so subtle at our inception into this third dimensional realm, and how we've been, for the lack of better terms, brainwashed and indoctrinated into these principles and these concepts. You may be asking, what are you getting to? I'm going to get there. I don't like jumping into things very fast because I'm a thinker at heart. So as I'm talking about these things, I don't have notes anywhere. I'm driving in my car. I'm just speaking. These are just things coming off the top of my head. So be patient with me as I attempt to lay down my points, but in a sequential format that will allow you as the listener to comprehend fully what I'm trying to get at. When we hear about these young girls that are going to these parties, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old girls, sometimes even 20, who knows? We know that the human brain isn't fully, especially in, well, males for sure, our brains are not fully developed, sometimes in our late 20s, some as early in the mid 30s. The brain of man is not fully, of a man is not fully developed until he's in his late 20s, mid 30s, and women probably in their late 20s. So you have these young females that are being taken advantage of with underdeveloped brains. So these young girls who aren't fully developed mentally are put into a space with predators, most who are older, who have a brain capacity that's fully developed. And it's fully developed because it's premeditated evil. When you're getting a hotel room ready and you're getting all the concoctions that you need, and you're getting all the drugs that you need, baby oil, Astroglide, drugs, libido enhancing treatments, all sorts of stuff being laid out in that hotel room. And of course, you guys will all say this is Diddy's doing. Oh yeah, it's Diddy's doing, but anyone who participates in that orgy, or AKA freak off, is just as culpable as Puff Daddy, because even though you didn't have a hand in the preparation processes, you're partaking and you are enjoying the fruits of the preparation. So you might as well be part of the preparation process, because the preparation process was done solely for the enjoyment or the consumption of those who want to embark in that type of filthy activity. So it brings me back to the point that I was making earlier about materialism, and I think that's where the problem lies in society. I think that our priorities are totally off. Our priorities are not even priorities. Like, we are, as a collective, not everybody, but I'm speaking generally. The average person, our priorities are off. And I can't blame people for it. Like I said before, we were born into this material world. And because we were born into this material world, the free market economy, the token economy system that we have, where money is the end-all be-all, and the value of a person's soul is solely predicated on how much finances that particular individual can accrue. So if you are a millionaire, you're looked at differently. If you are a billionaire, you're damn near worshipped as a god. if you don't have that much money, you're overlooked, and anything that you say or do is marginalized. It doesn't have value, which is why our working force is totally not aligned to what the essence or what the true meaning of value possesses or entails. Teachers should not be getting paid the way they get paid. They should be getting paid much more than that. We have noble professions, and I say teaching because that's just one that comes off the top of my head. But the people that are paid the most are the people who have businesses that are predicated, that the success of the business is strictly predicated off of taking advantage of people and price gouging and inserting all sorts of fees to get as much money from people as possible. It's called greed. Capitalism breeds greed. It just does. And you may ask, well, what other alternative do you want? Well, how about a resource-based economy where you don't have to pay for anything? There's enough resources on the planet. There's an infinite amount of resources in the world. Infinite. But we've been taught that it's scarce. But yet it's so scarce, but yet the military-industrial complex continues to push out product as if there's no end in sight. There's mass production of everything. Most of the things that kill us are mass-produced. I say mass-produced because they're not done. It's not like they're growing these things out of a farm. Most of these things are being created in a laboratory. So when you could create something damn near out of nothing, but not out of nothing, because you need some sort of material to create something. But the point that I'm making is when you have the ability to mass produce anything, then how can you paint a picture of scarcity being the motive from where you operate from? So you tell people that certain things are scarce, so you have to upcharge certain things. Then you have people who consume those products believing that it's scarce. That's why it's so expensive. Like it's never came to me in a way that I can actually digest it. It doesn't make any sense to me where people have to pay for water. Water is a natural resource. We pay for water. Can you believe that? In 2025, people actually pay for bottled water. And why the water is in a bottle is beyond me, because anyway, that's a whole nother subject for another day. So because we live in this material world, we're all born thinking that materials and what helps you get those materials is money, right? So we become materialistic whores. We become material hoes. We become material worshipers. And so young girls growing up, they're not taught this. This is just something that women have in their DNA. It's indelibly etched in their biomolecular construct. That's just who women are. And any woman that says they're not like that, they're lying. They're just trying to subdue what's obviously known. You say, what is that, literary pharaoh? Well, women are just bred. Not only bred, they're just born that way. They're born to look for security. It's a self-preserving trait, and it's not a bad thing. You know, women are nurturers. Women hold babies in their bellies. Their bodies, in and of itself, is a agent to protect life. The placenta, the womb, the uterus, all these things that women hold inside their body, inside their anatomy, allows them to not only nurture life, but raise life. You know what I mean? So after a child is born, that child is given the ability to live because the woman can breastfeed the child. She can pull out her breast and feed the child. Oh, no man can do that. So women by nature are seeking nurturing agents or seeking self-preserving elements in their ecosystem to help them thrive and survive. And because we live in a free market economy that's ran on a token economy system, women are going to seek men with money. Now, you may say, well, that's gold digging. That's not good. Well, it's not. I'm not saying it as a good or a bad thing. I'm just telling you what it is from a scientific perspective. But because we live in a materialistic world, the scientific element ends up transcending and amalgamating itself or commingling itself inside the physical. So the physical world is the scientific world says women are seeking certain things to be protected, security. Because they're natural nurturers. They need certain things to nurture. All right? They're always thinking family. Most women, not all. Some women are just insane. They don't even think about family. They even murder their own children. So most women are nurturers. So they're going to be looking for resources to sustain that nurturing element or that nurturing spirit. But because we live in a free market economy in a capitalistic world, money is the source, or money is the tool or the apparatus that allows you to get those things to help you sustain that nurturing element that you have in your mindset, because that's the way that your DNA is composed. That's the way women are made. You can't fault the DNA. You can't fault a woman for having breasts and ass. You can't get mad at a woman for being a woman. So there's nothing wrong with a woman seeking a man that has financial security, that can give her financial security. Let's get that straight. But here's where it gets sort of diabolical and it gets twisted. Because out of anything that's subtle, there's always something that takes it and puts it on the extreme. The pendulum swings, and it swings in a way that doesn't bode well for the evolution of man. And this is where the devolution or the devolution of man occurs, where you end up not evolving into something that's high, you end up going downward. These young women who don't have their minds fully developed, yes, they are seeking security, but that security that they're seeking is not planted in the soil of motherhood or being a wife. They're not coming from a perspective of I want to be a wife or I want to be a mother one day. They're coming for it because I see financial security, and financial security can get me materials, can get me the things that I want. I can get my hair done, my nails done, my phone bills paid, my apartment paid for, because this man has money. It's all now taken from a self-preserving perspective, all right, and a procreation perspective. It's taken from that element. Now it's being shifted into something that's totally different. There's a difference there. If a woman is seeking a man for financial security because she wants to be a wife and a mother, there's nothing wrong with that, because that's what a woman is supposed to want to do. A woman is supposed to want to be a mother. A woman is supposed to want to be a wife one day to a man. And a man is supposed to want to be a husband. A man is supposed to want to be a father and raise children with a sane woman who both man and woman will have the same mindset into how they're going to raise that child or raise their children. Okay? Now, bear with me. Be patient, because I don't have notes. I'm riding in my car to work, and all these things are coming off the top of my head. So hopefully I'm laying this out in a sequence that can be easily digested by you guys. And I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but stay with me. Be patient. So these young girls who are taken to these parties, it starts somewhere, because I know a lot of people are always going to ask, where are the parents? You know, you hear that a lot. You know, in the culture that I come from, in the Nigerian culture that I come from, I could give you the accent. You know, the parents are like, where are the parents? Where is the mother and the father? Where were the parents where these girls were going to these parties? And so people always say that. Well, the parents were there. And if you have a beautiful daughter, be very careful with your beautiful daughter. And I say beautiful because I'm not being shallow, I'm just being realistic. If you have a child that is 16 years old, overweight, not that attractive, you don't have to worry about that child. Because there's a high degree of discrimination that goes into these celebrity parties. There's certain women that are not going to be taken. There's certain women that are taken. And if you have an attractive child and they're living off of sensuality, and they're living off of a high sense of being shallow, and steeped into the world of materialism. You have to be very careful, because when your daughter goes off into that world of materialism and she's seeking men that have money, there's a high likelihood that she can find herself at a freak off, getting raped or getting graped and being drugged. You say, but how can you go to such extreme, literary pharaoh? Why does beautiful girls, why are they the target? Well, I'm gonna ask you a question. Why are beautiful girls not the target? Because if rich men that can provide financial security for women are a target, then beautiful women become the target of men. Not boys, men. Have you heard of a man called Shannon Sharp? Is he talking to women in their 40s or 50s? No. He's messing around with women in their 20s. So low as 19. So I'm telling you all this because with the emergence of social media going into an arena where you have people doing OnlyFans and getting financially compensated very well for what they do on these social media websites, selling sex in a way on these OnlyFans platforms. They call them OnlyFans models, whatever you want to call them, because it's all driven by materialism. Because if you have something that you know that men want, you're going to sell it. So both men and women are selling something. Men like to show off with their material possessions, to show that they have money, by throwing parties, showing off their nice cars, showing off their nice mansions, making women carry a degree of awe over what they possess. It goes back to materialism. So you can see the themes of materialism in my conversation here, in my podcast here. Everything is stirred around that pot. That pot of materialism is where all of these things are emanating from. So as these things unfold, both genders are selling a product. Women sell sex because they know that sells, and men are selling their material wealth and status. But this is where it gets dangerous, as I said. When you take something that's natural, there's nothing wrong with a woman seeking a man that has financial security, because financial security, it leads into other facets of what makes a man a man. It just means the man is a hard worker, the man is smart, the man is diligent, the man has gone through things, because you don't wake up rich. You have to do certain things to get to that point. It means that you're intelligent. So if a man has money, it means that he has a lot of qualities other than just his money. All right? It's not like women aren't seeking men that just got an inheritance. Women are seeking men that have built wealth. And that building of wealth takes time and patience. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that goes into that, which is why older men tend to be the ones that get the younger, attractive woman. It's not the muscle-bound teenager, it's not the muscle-bound boy in his 20s or man in his 20s that's gonna get the girl that's 19. Those quote-unquote baddies or hot girls that look real nice, they're not looking at men their age. They're looking at older men, because the women are seeking something. It's naturally wound up in them to seek that, but where it gets dangerous is when you're seeking that not on the premise of building a family and not on the premise of being a wife. If you're just seeking that just for the sake of having money, just to purchase more materials, buy Birkin bags and fly me here, fly me there, then that's when it becomes dangerous. And that's when you find yourself at a freak off getting fucked by a bunch of men that you don't know while you're under the influence or you're not even conscious. That's where you can find yourself. So I'm saying this, I don't get mad at women that seek men with money. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't get mad at men who have the money that are seeking younger women. I'm not going to never tell a man to date his age. I just feel like you can date whoever you want. Especially, and Shannon Sharp said it best, and I don't agree with some of the things that Shannon Sharp has done. Like I said, I made a video about his little ordeal with this 19-year-old. I think she's 20 now. Number one, I would never date an OnlyFans person. I would never talk to anybody that's been in the porn industry. I don't want to talk to anybody that people have had that many men have had eyes on. I don't want whoever I have, I want that. Maybe maybe my personal take on this is predicated on me not being a rich person. Maybe me being an average. I'm not going to say that I'm poor, because I'm not poor, but maybe me not being in the status of the elite in terms of financial wealth puts me in a category of having a mindset that's like this, where I'm saying I don't want a woman like that. But I would think that if you are a person that's known, that's famous, you would want to be low key. Why would you want to talk to an OnlyFans person, where a person that everyone sees, or Instagram model, or poor? You have people who wouldn't mind talking and dating people who are adult actresses, who are porn stars. Like who does that? I'm saying who does that? People do it. So those are the extremes. You have men that are just so fixated on the look of a woman that the woman's like, okay, I'm going to sell that to you in order to get what I want. But the woman is saying, I'm going to go for a particular man. I'm going to go seek a particular man that has the yacht, that has the jet, that has the status. So what Cassie did is not unusual for a woman to do, especially at her young age. But what makes the Cassie situation dangerous is that her brain wasn't fully developed. So she was easily groomed and manipulated by a man whose brain was fully developed and evil. See, you can be mentally ill with a full developed brain. Those are the worst kind of people, because it means that there's no point of bringing them back. There's no rehabilitation that can rehab them back to a sense of what you want to consider normal. There is no normal for those kind of people. Those people are bred in evil because their minds are fully developed and all they can think about is evil things. They can premeditate it, they can plan it, and they'll live out their schemes to the best of their ability. And when they don't get their way, they'll manipulate their way to get their way. Which is why you had Puff videotaping people in order to blackmail them. All right, to make them do what he wanted, or else, if you don't do what I say, I have footage of you doing this. If you don't believe me, here's the footage. So just be careful. The God of materialism is here to stay, and it works in the psychological constructs of both male and female quite differently. In a woman, it forces the woman to seek a man that has the financial status that could provide her the financial security that she's seeking. Where in a man, his wealth can be used to put him as a number one option for those women that are seeking that financial security. Now, those women that are seeking that financial security of that level, there are levels to this financial security. So when I'm talking to you guys, I'm not talking about the average layman. I'm not talking about average people like me or you if you're listening to this podcast. And I'm talking about financial status. I'm talking about those that are up there. When I say up there, I mean there's just levels to this. Okay, like the Jay-Z's, the Sean Combs, the Jimmy Iovine, the Clive Davis. I don't know. You know who they are. Like those people who are millionaires and billionaires. Those kind of people. Okay. So those kind of people, they don't have to go to the gym. Of course, it helps. You think Bill Belichick's girlfriend is into Bill Belichick because Bill Belichick is physically astute and has a six-pack and has a nice body? Hell, fuck no. She didn't care about that. Young guys think that if I go to the gym and work out, that's what's going to attract the female to me. That's part of it. That's not even half of it. That's a percentage of it. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's not that great of a percentage. That's the flawed thinking I had when I was younger. I thought, oh, the more I work out, the better I look, the more attractive girl I'll get. No. Women aren't thinking about that. It's nice to look at, it's eye candy, but that's not what they're into. A man, on the other hand, again, materialism works differently in both male and female. Female seeking financial security, male using finances to gain pleasure from any kind of woman he wants. So out of the two, you can't really chastise either one or be highly critical of either perspective. It's just the way it is. And I'm not going to be mad at it. It's sort of like they say, you know, don't hate the player, hate the game. Like, don't hate the people, just hate the way that it's made. Like, we didn't create it that way. That's just the science. That's just the biology of it. So, and my mistake, and many mistake of many men before you get older and start to get wiser, is that your younger years, you shouldn't even be worrying about women. You shouldn't. Your younger years, you should just devote your time into building your material wealth. Taking courses, whether you're going to college to earn your degree, whatever it is, your grinding stage should be very, very hard and difficult. You shouldn't be spending your time seeking a wife in your young 20s. Definitely not in your late teens. The mistake that most men make because of this aura of materialism that's put upon us, we can't escape it. It's like oxygen, it's everywhere. It allows, or it enables young men to think that because men are operating off of the shallow perspective of, I see attractive women, therefore if I'm attractive, women will see me attractive. No, a woman can see a man that's attractive and just say, that's a nice man. Or maybe she can have thoughts of having sex with that. That's as far as it may go, but she won't pursue you. Now, if you pursue her, now she starts to put on her analytic lens. She starts to analyze you, not your looks. Women have already sized you up. Now they're seeing, how much money does he make? What kind of car does he drive? What kind of shoes does he wear? Look at his watch. What kind of money? Now we start to get to the core essence of their analytical premise, or where they get their analyzing from. The analyzing has to be motivated by something. It's motivated by materialism, but the materialism is viewed through a lens of financial security. A man, on the other hand, okay, can see the attractive woman and say, man, she's fine. Immediately his mind goes to sex. Not only does he go to sex, I'm not saying that a woman doesn't think about sex, she does. But her sex is on the back burner. Man thinking about sex, it's on the front burner. And we're like, shit, I could have sex with her today, right now. What can I do to show her a good time, to get her loose enough to actually do that with me? That's where the man starts to spend the money. That's where you get the term, you're simping on women. And, you know, you're flying her out, you're paying her bills, you're doing X, you're doing this, you're doing Y, you're doing da da da. You're doing all these things to get the woman to be comfortable, yada yada yada. So as you can see, that's the world we live in, and I think that entire picture that I've tried to paint to the best of my ability is what enables. All right, is what enables free costs to occur because of the god of materialism. I know it sounds far-fetched, and it's not as simple as good and evil, angels and God, they're demons, and these drugs. No, you have to think deeper and go beyond the surface. Okay, go a little bit deeper and ask yourself, why are these girls even there? They're there because they like to be around men that have status and money and power. They like to be showered with gifts. And so for these predatory men, they know that. They take advantage of these young girls. And because these men are living for their baser needs, they're living for pleasure. They're living for sensuality. They are only existing to feed their flesh. So therefore, They're going to take advantage of a woman's flesh. And that's why you have the situations that you have. It's all rooted in materialism. Peace. Leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Thank you for listening. Till next time. Bye.